What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Response Time, where I respond to your comments on the channel. First of all, I want to say thank you guys for commenting. Make sure you keep dropping those comments down below in my videos. Give me your thoughts, and I'll respond to them in my next Response Time video. The goal is I'm going to get a Response Time up every Friday, so comment on the videos. First of all, thanks for the comments. Keep doing it. Also, subscribe here if you're new. Like the videos, getting the channel going, still building it, so every single subscription matters very much. So let's go ahead and get right into this. First comment's coming from Luis Morse. In some liberal democratic cities, the cops' duties are limited. No more stop and frisk and a series of other things. We are less safe since the riots of 2020. Especially where I live, sometimes criminals are arrested, given little to no bail for serious crimes, and returned to the streets only to continue the rampage. More laws would not help. The guns are already out there. Elected officials are living in their own reality. So first of all, let's go ahead and break this down. She says, no more stop and frisk, and we're less safe since the riots of 2020. So I've definitely seen many stories, especially from San Francisco, Los Angeles, and there was a state, I'm so frustrated that I'm forgetting what it is right now, but there was a state, I think it was Illinois, where they were going to pass a resolution, and one of the police chiefs was speaking out fervently against this because the resolution would essentially not allow them to arrest criminals for like the first degree of felony or something like that. They could not prosecute them. And we're just seeing a general move away from cops being able to restrain and convict criminals, especially in left-leaning states and governed states. Like I said, California is a big one. Chicago, I know, is really bad. And essentially, I'm not even saying that stop and frisk is a good idea or that it is a good thing in general. I think it's worked in some cases probably not, but it's definitely an issue that the cops are being stripped of their ability to do anything about crimes. And oftentimes, if your police chief is condemning crime, and they, or not condemning crime, but condemning your force and not supporting you guys, then oftentimes you're not going to be able to arrest people for the stuff they're doing. So good point there from Luis. Thank you for your comment, Luis. Christopher O'Meara on my Cashless Society video says, what does Congress think about the digital dollar? Aren't they supposed to regulate the value of coin money? Wouldn't this be a violation of the Fourth Amendment? So, to my knowledge, the Fourth Amendment was about unreasonable search and seizure and your own assets. So I don't necessarily think so. I mean, as we've seen in the past, if Congress wants to pass a law, whether or not it is unconstitutional, likelihood is it would go to the Supreme Court. And, like in the case of Roe v. Wade, where the Supreme Court ruled that women have a constitutional right to abortion in 1971, I believe, up until this year, that was overturned. But it stood for 50 years, and I would imagine that if the forces that are in power, whoever is truly in power, if they really want this bad enough, if this is like an agenda they're pushing hard enough, they will find a way to legalize it, right? It doesn't really necessarily matter about the constitutionality of the issue itself. I mean, would it be a violation of the Fourth Amendment? Possibly. I don't necessarily think. Again, it's just going to come down to who's interpreting the issue. It's going to come down to the Supreme Court justices. So let's hope, if this becomes a reality, our Supreme Court will uphold our privacy. They will uphold our sovereignty and the ability to transact in U.S. dollars. Next comment comes from B. Aramis on my GOP is Dead video. He says, all the moderates I know wanted to go red, but their stance on gay rights, abortion, and stance on Ukraine turned everyone off. The DC I'm in had like 50 plus moderates going red, but then almost 100% changed their mind because of those issues. I was blown away that almost all 100% backed away. To be quite honest with you, if those issues are hills to die on, I'm not necessarily sure that you are taking everything into account as a voter, because when you look at the macro scale of what's going on right now in our country, like what are the main issues? And for years and years and years, the most important issue to voters was the economy. This is the first time I think I saw a statistic. I saw Biden tweet it. I forget what it was. Statistic saying that this is like the best performance of an incumbent president in midterms in like recent history. It definitely was, and especially with the case of a struggling economy. I know the White House changed the definition of a recession, but the fact is we're in a recession right now. With an economy in the state that we're in, generally speaking, that's the most prevalent issue in the midterms. But we are in a very strange situation regarding the economy itself. I will say that, because while we are in a recession, we're still seeing a massive amount of consumer spending. We're seeing a massive amount of people are still purchasing vehicles at an all-time high. I mean, the economy is in a strange state, but generally speaking, like I said, I would think that the economy would be a bigger issue than Ukraine or abortion or whatever. And I'm not even sure what he's saying with his friends about their thoughts in Ukraine with Republican policy, because if anything, yes, you have the rhinos that are voting for more money in Ukraine, but largely the Republican voter base, at least, is opposed to sending more money continually to Ukraine. So I wouldn't say that that's a Republican stance or a true Republican stance that we support the money going to Ukraine. So thanks, Aramis, for your comment. Anonymous88 commented on my President Trump Twitter video saying, I am not endorsing or condemning Trump here, but some people like to say Trump is yesterday's news, and yet he already has close to 100 million followers. Sounds like his naysayers have a case of sour grapes and sunk cost fallacy to me. Unpopular people don't have close to 100 million followers, and that's true. That's definitely true. I did see somebody comment on my video saying that there was, because in my video I was saying how Trump gained 100 million followers in almost one day, and this has been happening where Twitter will reinstate an account, and I saw that some accounts you have to manually follow. Like I formerly followed Trump before he got banned, and when he got reinstated, I had to manually go and follow him again. I had to click the follow button. I was not following him anymore. And there's been a mix. So there's been some people that had to go refollow the people that are getting reinstated. There's also been people who have been automatically followed back to to the account they've been following before they got banned. So I'm not sure what the case is. But yeah, I mean, I would agree with the sentiment. I mean, Trump is obviously, I don't think he's yesterday's news quite yet. He's made some damaging comments about DeSantis, some very questionable comments that are not supported by Republicans whatsoever. But yeah, I would agree with that. So thanks for your comment, Anonymous88. So another comment on my Trump video on Twitter, coming from Asgir R, says, I think Trump is a thing of the past in American politics. It makes sense to unban Trump from Twitter. Trump was wrongfully banned, but Alex Jones, that dude does not deserve a platform. And I will say that Elon Musk himself came out and said that he's not going to put Alex Jones back on Twitter because of his own personal convictions. And whether you agree with Alex Jones, and as Gear says here, a lot of people have his stance of Alex Jones is just not acceptable to be back on Twitter. Whether you have that stance or not, you have to acknowledge that who determines? That's the question. Who's going to determine who's allowed to speak, who's not allowed to speak? That's really the main issue with free speech. Anytime a singular person or organization holds that ability, I think it's a massive issue. We have laws in the United States already that govern free speech and limit it to its reasonable, limitations, which is, no fire in a crowded theater. You can't shout fire in a crowded theater. You can't directly incite violence. So, yes, I mean, Alex Jones' comments were extremely disparaging toward those families in Sandy Hook. Very unfortunate comments. He has retracted them multiple times. And the only thing I'll say about Alex Jones is that he was, he's made very many comments that have actually come to fruition. A lot of predictions that have come to fruition. So I don't necessarily think he's all bad. But we're just going to have to see what happens with Twitter. I saw Elon Musk tweeted out that they're considering doing an amnesty policy where everybody who has been banned in the past will be reinstated automatically, unless they've had an egregious violation with violence or something like that, or whatever the case may be. But they're considering an amnesty policy, so we'll see if that comes to fruition. If that does, I think it's a good chance that Alex Jones will get back on Twitter. So yeah, I mean, a lot of people agree with you. I'm not too set myself, so we'll see what happens. But thanks for your comment, Asgear. Last comment here for response time. Always my favorite comments in this nature. R. Stedler, shout out to you. Comment for the algorithm. You know how it is. You know how we do. Comment for the algorithm, guys. If you're watching this video right now, comment for the algorithm. Drop your comment down below. Also, everybody who I responded to in this video, drop a comment down below if you disagree with anything I said, or if you want to keep the conversation going, drop another comment down below. Okay? And even if you haven't commented in the previous videos, drop a comment right now. What do you think about the things that were discussed in this video? Like I said, this channel is a conversation starter. This channel is a home of debate. All opinions, all standpoints are welcome. I will not disagree, or I will not disrespect anybody's opinion at all. If you made it this far, make sure you like the video. Subscribe if you want to see more response time videos, more current event videos, political and news commentary. With that being said, this is Joseph stating the obvious. I will see everybody next time. Peace out.